Ooh, look, suspension. So, in this video, I will be going over my coilover setup, what I am doing with these coilovers right now, my plans for the near future and why, and I will also be explaining, you'll see. So, to start, this is a ground control suspension setup for the CR-V. I had to call them because at the time this was not listed on their website, but I found it through a forum post that they make one. They may still not have it on their website, but they do make it. This is specifically for the CR-V. These are the front. One has a fork on, one doesn't. The rear are actually sitting in the car right now. I have unbolted the ones in the back and I have taken these apart because I am trimming these bump stops. Why am I trimming these bump stops? Well, to explain that, I have to give a little bit of background, okay? When I first got these coilovers, they were 400-pound springs in the front, and I think it was like 314 in the back, and it rode exceptionally well, like exceptionally well. I really liked it, but I wanted it to be a little stiffer because, you know, handling. So I ordered 440-pound springs. I put those in the front, which are these, and I moved the 400s to the back because they take the same spring. So, you know, it handled better, quote unquote, but now it's super stiff for daily driving, especially because I put polyurethane suspension bushings in my lower control arms. So I needed to find a compromise, which is kind of what I'm trying to do now. One of the things I noticed was that if I actually raised the ride height of the CR-V about ½ an inch when I put the 440-pound springs in, because with it lower, it was actually a rougher ride, and I think that it may have been low enough, because it's really hard to tell when it's up in the car, that it was actually bumping up on these bump stops, which is what was making it so rough. So I'm going to trim these to give this more travel. The reason why I have to do it that way is because if you notice, these don't have an adjustment at the bottom for just adjusting ride height and leaving travel the same. And some of you might think, oh, that's not so great, blah, blah. Well, there are multiple suspension videos online that talk about coilovers and differences, and one of the dangers of having a ride height adjustment at the bottom and then also a travel adjustment up here is that if you adjust this one all the way and you don't adjust this one at all, you run the possibility of having your wheel hit up into the fender and like rip the fender off or just break something, you know, essentially, because the travel will still move just as far, but the range that you have until you hit the inside of the fender is much smaller. So running something with like these is simpler. There is a little bit of a limitation for like how much ride height you can take out, but it saves you the trouble of essentially running your tire up into the fender, because to lower it, you also reduce the travel distance. Well, I need a little bit more travel distance with this, so I'm essentially trimming this so that it has a little more travel, but it's still where I want it to be lowered wise. And the reason that I'm not trimming it down to like here is because these still need to be at least a certain length. And basically trimming this top section off is kind of where you want to stop. You can do like halfway, like right there, but that's really the limit for doing these. So anyway, that is my step. Oh, and the reason these are apart so easily, it's a ground control setup. It's Koni yellow shocks. It's Koni. I don't need to explain who they are. They're fantastic. You can find them everywhere. They make a really great product. I'm sure they make a lot for normal manufacturing too. Anyway, when they sell you these kits, it's not installed under pressure. You can literally just unbolt this top hat and take the spring out, which makes servicing these and replacing springs a breeze. Plus, you can order individual parts. So like when I got these, I had the 400 in the front and the 314 in the back. And these are 440, and I moved the 400s to the back And all I had to do was unbolt these, swap them out, and like you can order the individual springs from Ground Control. They're made by Eibach. They have all the different spring rates and like styles. These are barrel. The ones on the back are actually straight springs. It's just that, you know, these were the ones that had the spring rates I needed. The shape is just the shape. It doesn't actually affect how they ride. One of the cool things about this is like if you have something that breaks, I don't need to order an entire set of these for, you know, what was it? I think I paid a pretty penny for these, including these reinforced top hats. I think these were like $1,200. But to buy the individual parts, I think you get a little bit of a discount if you're a return customer, I think. But either way, if I want to change the spring rates, these are like $65 a piece, which is nothing. I mean, that's really cheap for what you get. They have basically the entire Eibach catalog or something like that to choose from, plus their own line, because these have their name on it and they're made by Eibach. But like, it's a really great company. I love the product. I've been happy with these for over 2 years. My car has not been riding on these for 2 years. It's actually been up for more time than that. So like, I probably have only put about 10,000 miles on these total-ish. You know, they're dampening adjustable. They're a really nice set. So I'm gonna trim these, put these back on, bolt these back into the car, and go from there. If it's still too stiff and too bumpy when I get this, I have springs in the mail from Ground Control that are 425 for the front and 380 for the rear. I'm gonna start with the rear first, see where that gets me. If the handling is okay and it rides better, I'll go with it. If it's too soft, I have one more option that I can try, and I will go that route if I need to. But other than this, other than these and the ones that are currently still on the back of the car, I am, yeah, see, all I did was unbolt it, slip it down, and then slip the spring off, because I took off the top hat through here and then just slid everything off. So these are straight, and here's the top hat. They're like super easy to deal with, and I love these coilovers. So anyway, I will have another video covering suspension geometry correction that I'm doing in the front, tie rods for the front that are special in a different way because they allow multiple points of adjustment. I am also going to cover some of the other suspension things I'm doing, but I want to keep this one short and limited to just the coilovers and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So until next time, go stick or go home, guys. And I'm trying to put out a video at least once every other week. If I can manage it, once a week. It just depends on how busy I am, because I'm doing a lot more than just the car stuff. But anyway, I'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy.